What's good people? It's your boy CJ Randolph, and this is the Just a Messenger podcast where we're just trying to change the world with one message at a time. And what's that message? It's the message of hope, of love, of joy, and of peace. And back by popular demand.
Yes. She's back, y'all.
The captain.
The captain's back.
I am
Angie.
Angie baby. She's go by Angie baby. Yeah. Angela. Welcome back, dear.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of all the different nicknames you had.
Angie baby, Angie.
I guess that's all I know.
Ginger. If you don't know anything about that, that was
Okay, we don't have to talk about that.
It kind of sounds like a
sweet and
stripper
spicy.
name.
That's what I'm thinking.
It wasn't never that. That one never.
Hey, don't worry. I had one. That was Caramel Carl. So
Caramel.
Oh my God.
Caramel Carl. How do you make Carl sexy?
You put caramel on it.
Excuse me. So, no children. Okay.
You put caramel on it.
Too much for my ears.
Oh my. Okay. She's back. She's back once again. And thank you for coming back, my dear friend. I think on today we're going to talk about something that is
very important. Extremely important.
Yeah.
Being a teacher that I have moved on with and dealing with so many different kids with mental health issues or mental health or let me rephrase that, dealing with mental health, their mental health,
right?
Period. Especially
yes,
kids.
Mental health,
yes.
Right.
I've dealt with my mental health as an adult,
yes.
But now in this age, being a teacher, seeing the drastic change on how we were raised or how we grew up to what's happening now, we don't have enough light shown. Yeah, we don't have enough light shown on that, and the experiences of parents that kind of go through that also.
Yes.
I feel like this is something new for our generation, and I think the more we talk about it, the better we are. Good or bad, highs and lows. I think we just have to talk, and I appreciate Angie so much because she's been very, very vulnerable and open about this topic. She comes from a place of experience, and I think it just takes a lot. It takes a lot for someone to kind of be this open about it and to do it not just for yourself, but I think you have a passion to help others.
Yes.
And we can see that through how you move, how you act, and how you talk about this topic. So so yeah, we're gonna talk about that today. And you let us know if it's too much or too little, but this is your platform. But I am very proud of you for doing this.
Thank you for being there all the way through.
Yeah, I know this has been a season, so it's always important to go through life with people, no matter what you're going through. You should never go through anything alone. So we kind of talked about it in the previous podcast, where you're at a place where you're okay to ask for help, to receive help.
Yes.
And that's a big thing in itself too. So yeah, I'll give the floor to you, dear.
Okay, where do I start?
Wherever you want, wherever your heart wants to take you.
Well, like you said, when it comes to mental health, we all have different, with adults, we have actually been dealing with mental health. People think mental health is just it's just crazy people, right?
Right.
Yeah. But mental health is a lot. I mean, everybody has mental health problems. Right. Everybody does not choose to talk about their mental health problems. You can have depression, which is mental health. You can have anxiety, which is mental health. Absolutely. Fear. Just it's so many different things about mental health that people don't realize is really mental health, right? Because it's your mind. It's mental. But when it comes to my son, God rest his soul, Demetrius, called himself Casey, Kansas.
Yes.
I'm not going to say that I was in denial. I always knew that he had it different than my other children.
Right.
Because he did not live with me all of his life.
Right.
So I did not have, I don't want to say control, but basically I wasn't parenting him all 19 years of his life.
Yeah.
And with that being said, it takes two to raise a child. It takes more than two. It takes a village to raise children, because as you guys know, back in the day when I remember her name was Miss Sweet, she was across the street, and me and my cousin did something wrong, she was telling. Or if she wasn't telling, we might get in trouble by her.
Yeah.
Right.
It was okay for a neighbor to, maybe, scold a child, and and then you're going to get in more trouble when you get home. Now kids are, not saying this happened to me, but just being open. Kids are disrespectful. I would never, still to this day, cuss if I'm in a store or anything and you see an adult. You kind of respect the kids nowadays. They don't care. They just talk, and if we said something, we was mumbling, we was getting our butts beat after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a different generation, definitely.
Yeah. The privacy, the social media, the bullying, just trying to be even when it comes to music, it's different.
Very.
Like we were singing I Get So Weak in My Knees, and we were singing that at 14.
Yeah.
I did have a child, not saying it was because of SWV. But
Probably not. Probably not.
But I mean, even just back then, because even when you go deeper, like my grandmother had children, everybody was like young.
Right.
Things might have kept like swept underneath the rug, but now things are just so open.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of things were kept secretive.
Yeah.
But when it comes to my son, I'm going to say Casey, because if he was given a chance to probably give himself a different name, he probably would have named himself that.
Yeah.
Right? Because we as parents, we give the child their name, and who to say you really want to carry that name? That's just what you were given as a kid, right?
Yeah.
So he was very talented, but I think through his talent, through his struggles, that allowed him, I think his talent allowed his struggles to kind of like, I'm going to say, I don't know, minimize or just...
He could hide it
easy. Yeah. It
because he was so talented.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he worked, like he just kept himself busy to the point where it was hidden.
Yes.
For me,
wasn't
as
obvious.
a parent.
Yeah.
To my understanding, that he used to talk to one of my daughters, and of course kids don't share everything with parents.
Right.
But I did have a conversation, when do you tell?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I went through this with him when he was 15 or 16, 3.5 years ago. My son tried to take his life, but God saw it differently.
Right.
He allowed him to have 3 more years on earth.
Yes.
And in the last 3 years, he did everything.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to figure out who he was.
Right.
So when I say he did everything, just in those 3 years, I don't even think a grown man can actually kind of like accomplish what he did in those 3 years. From music to handiwork to tattooing to music to guitar. He never knew how to play. He learned cooking.
Yeah.
He had just created a LinkedIn page for a private chef.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw that.
I didn't even know that he had created that page.
Yeah.
I actually found it just Googling his name.
Wow.
And that was under Demetrius Dawkins.
Okay.
So he had wanted to be a private chef. He didn't want to be open. He just wanted to kind of like, because he was kind of quiet.
Yeah.
But he was very silly. He was very silly. We were all kind of like silly.
Yeah.
So he was just really silly. Even his dog, Nyla, she actually transitioned as well. Almost 3.5 months after him. So that was his best friend.
Yeah.
She was 10 years old, and I guess like when it comes to just going back thinking when I first got him to Georgia after the first episode, taking him to the doctors, they just wanted to load him up with medication.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the medication, it just makes him drowsy.
Yeah.
But he's a very upgoing person.
Right.
And, even when he transitioned, that's what they tried to do, medicate me with everything. Like I could have probably opened up if it was the old me. I probably would have been doing things with, you know what I'm saying, maybe a couple dollars, but no. But all jokes aside, like, it's the medicine. He didn't like it, and I wasn't gonna force him.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if he was showing me improvement.
Right.
And so he graduated from high school. He was just working on so many things. I think that's the most difficult part for me, to even like go into his room still and see the things that he had listed that he actually wanted to complete.
Right.
Yeah.
Just leaves me kind of like, still, what happened on that day?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say things about music. Just for those out there, if your child is listening to music, we don't, they have these headphones on and they have them on all day long. Do you know what your child is listening to?
Yeah.
But at 19, do you really check his stuff?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where is the balance? Do you go through his phone at 19?
Yeah, and it's like there's a book
Yeah.
that tells us, okay, when a child turns 19, this is what you can and
Or
can't
18,
do.
because I know when I was 18, you couldn't. I was legal.
Yeah, you grown.
I'm grown.
I was
Right,
grown.
right.
And then even now, it is a struggle, like I said, with children, because even at 16 or 17, they're still looking at you like, why are you trying to worry about what I'm doing?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the time we need to worry the most.
Yeah. So like with you, I have a question for you. Like with you being a previous teacher, dealing with, did you hear children ever like speak to you about like?
Oh yeah, because I had great relationships with my kids, and they always felt that it was a safe space.
Okay.
And I'd always tell them, listen, they'd be like, hey, Mr. Randolph. Because I always tell them that, like, if there is a time that you need to talk to somebody, my door is open.
Yeah.
And so they would come in, and I'm like, all right, now what you're about to tell me, I have to tell the counselors. Are you fine with that? And they'd be like, yes, I just need to tell somebody.
Okay.
So then we talk, and then I go explain to the counselors what we talked about, and then I just kind of do the check in on them and stuff like that. But let's see, I would have to say there's probably been about 4 people that have confessed and said that
Okay.
I stopped them.
Okay.
And yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And there have been some that I find out eventually that they went. It happened. So yeah, and I'm thankful that I could be a voice that could try to do something right.
Yeah.
And try to give some positivity and try to give, let them be known that they're seen, right? And this is just coming from the teacher that you have for 45 minutes in the day. But then also in the hallway, I'm checking in on them.
Right.
I'm always making sure, hey, you good? What you need?
Yeah.
And then you see them days where you're just like, all right, just lay your head down and go to sleep. Don't have to do no work. Because you can feel like, I felt like God has given me some type of discernment to really like feel. I'm an empathetic person, so I feel that.
Yeah.
And so if I have the ability to give them some type of peace, if it's in 40 minutes, then I'm going to do that. I don't care that you don't know this teak right now.
Right.
I care that you find some peace in this little moment right here to get you to the next.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yes.
I think it's just so crazy that the numbers have just increased significantly. But I don't know if it's really an increase in numbers or it's just more open, like you said earlier. Like we're just talking about it more, so it's being recognized more. It's being accepted more as something that is legit. And I think that's a good thing, because I feel like the scariest place to be dealing with any type of mental condition is to feel like you're doing it alone. Mm-hmm. If you feel like you're alone, then no one understands me. If no one understands me, no one can help me. If no one can help me and I can't do this by myself, then what are my options, right? And that's a very sad and scary place to be. But really, nothing new is under the sun. And there are so many people going through very, very similar situations, but they just feel like they're the only one. So I thank God that there are people and professionals out there that are willing to be an ear for those who maybe they don't feel comfortable talking to their parents about it, but maybe they can talk to a teacher or a coach, and maybe it's a friend. So I'm not sure. I don't think we talked about it, but like if he finished his last year when he was 18, did he graduate when he was 18?
Yes, he graduated when he was in May. Like he just graduated.
Okay.
May 2023.
Right.
And I bet that was a very.
He did not want to, like when he came to Georgia, he did not want to go to school.
Okay.
Like that was it wasn't a fight, but he was just like he didn't like school anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And he was coming from a well-known school.
Okay.
You know, but also my son was my son was dark skinned, and he was the only like really black child in that school.
Okay.
Too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think coming to Georgia was a little bit different, but then also we're going to rewind a little bit.
Okay.
When he was 4, the judge ordered me and his father to have basically split custody of him.
Right.
Okay. So what did that look like?
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Every other year, back and forth.
Yeah.
1 year with you.
1 year in Georgia schools, 1 year in New York schools. Back and forth every other year since he was 4 years old. So
that would be hard on me as an adult to have like 2 different families, 2 different time zones, 2 different states.
Yeah.
Oh, since he was 4.
Since he was 4. So he always struggled in that way. So then it makes me think like, so mentally, if you were unstable, physically you are unstable. So you're thinking, which way do I go? Not only which way do I go, where am I going? Who am I staying with? Parents, I am co-parent. I'm a co-parent fighter.
Yeah. Yes.
Children did not ask to be here.
Yeah.
They should never be put in the middle of a problem between a parent, because then it allows the child to have to pick and choose between each parent, which I actually dealt with even the day of my son's services. So at 19, and that's why I say get it together, because even at that age, because he wasn't married, we still had to come together as parents.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are you fighting for? Right. So at some point somebody has to be the bigger adult. Somebody has to make the right decision. And I don't want to get spiritual. That's why you're not supposed to have children unless you're married and stuff. You're supposed to fight for your marriage and things like that. But so that your children don't have to kind of like go through different things. But when things don't go that way, you still have to work together, co-parent.
Right.
It's not the kid's fault.
Right.
It's not the kid's fault. So he struggled with that.
Yeah.
And I was a young mom too, so sometimes I'm like, this is my child, but at some point I did make a decision to allow him to stay, because I didn't want him to go back and forth. It hurt, but I allowed him to go. And then I felt bad because I'm like, he's going through all this stuff, but I wasn't told either from the beginning.
Can we just pause real quick though? Because I don't want to skim over the fact that
Are we about to get biblical?
I can get biblical.
Solid.
We always on the same page. Let's just pause right there, because what I just heard you say is that for the best interest of my child, I let him go. This is my child. I want to raise him. I did make him, but I thought it was better for him to be somewhere else so that we don't have to go back and forth, than it was for me to continue my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. As a mom, that's hard.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, I'm not in a position where I can love you and raise you the way I want to, without it being some type of detriment to you because of what the law said or what the judge said. And half the time with me, half the time with that. And you're seeing that this is not good for my child. So, okay, I'll let him go. You go ahead and be with dad. Now, some people could look at that and be like, dang, you just gave up? Absolutely not. Now, that's a strong type of love right there, when you have to let go. When you have to let go for the best interest of your child, you're not thinking about you and your feelings. And this is biblical because there's a story in the Bible. I don't know if you ever heard it. I don't know if it's a parable or if it's real.
It was Solomon's first judgment as
yes.
king.
So there's judges in the Bible, and there were two ladies fighting over a baby. They both said, this child is mine. And back in the day, it's not like you could do a DNA test, right? So I don't know. So these two ladies are saying, the child is mine. From my understanding, you correct me if I'm wrong, because you're a biblical scholar. But I think one of the moms actually lost her child. So she was like, I'm just going to take this child.
Do you listen? That sounds like my story.
Listen, this is Bible. We're going to find it for you.
Okay.
So they're fighting over this child. And the real mom is like, this is my child. And the other mom is like, no. So they take it to the judge. And
King Solomon.
Who is like the wisest. You could ask God for anything in the world. Would you ask for? He asked for wisdom, right?
Yep.
So they brought it to him. And his response was, okay, if we can't figure out whose child it is, cut him in half. You get half, you get half. So what did the real mom do? She gave her child away.
And what did Solomon say?
She let the child go. Okay, if it's not in the best interest of my child, I'm trying to get emotional because this is what happened.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and take my child.
And what did Solomon say? That's the real mom.
That's the real mom. The one that gave her child away. That's okay. I'm sorry. I just had to pause right there because
you can't glaze
can't skim over that.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna. Like I said, I'm a real person. From the time I had my son, it was a battle. That's why I say co-parent.
Right.
And it wasn't just a battle with me. It was a battle with his father and the girlfriend. I'm just gonna say and be honest. Everybody knows it's not a secret, right?
Yeah.
Forever. And it was to the point, even when it got to me calling up to the school one day. This is after I have allowed him to go. They told me that my name was not on any information. I'm like, what? Like, I had him November 9th. So they told me somebody else's name was on the paper, and I had to send in legal documentation.
Yeah.
Someone else's name was on the paper as mom.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you spoke of that,
right.
and then so imagine the child actually going through that, right?
Yes. I mean, the child is right in the middle of all of this.
Since the young age. So really, now you have me thinking, at what point did he might think that I knew he knew I was his mom, but I always felt like I had to like fight for that part.
Like for that title.
Yep.
Like I have to prove that I'm mom.
And so that's why I said I thank God for the last 3 years, because me and him, we became so close.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, he was right there.
Right.
Even when I was doing something I ain't had no business doing, he was right there. He had my back.
I used to see videos of you guys. I think there was one of you guys skating, and y'all was holding hands, and I was just like, they're just so cute. Yeah. I mean, for a teenage boy to be like, I want to go skating with my mom.
Yeah.
And my mom, I don't want her to fall, so I'm gonna hold her hand. Like that's just
He He was everything. All my children are everything.
Yeah.
But he was the handy one, because even my oldest, he'll say, "Oh nope, that ain't me." Okay. All right, yeah. But I actually told him the other day, "Hey, I need this screws fixed in this chair. You got to come back home a little bit for sometimes take out the garbage can." But it is goodness. Like, that's why I said, even the last time we were talking, I said basically everything in the Bible is like, but what happens in our life?
Mm-hmm.
There's again, nothing new is under the sun.
Yeah, well, I never knew that. Now I'm going to read that.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
Yeah.
We'll look it up.
That's very, so please, co-parent. Please. I beg.
Yeah.
Like, I beg. Even me growing up, my parents weren't married. You know, so I knew, okay, I'm going over my dad's house. I could do anything over here. I go to my mom's house. Nah, that ain't happening. I get locked out. Coming past 9:00, locking the doors. Right.
Yeah.
My dad,
like, for real.
No, yeah, no, like for real. For real.
It really did.
But like with my dad, it was my stepmom, really. Because majority of the time, it's different now.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot more single fathers now than you did back in the day. Mm-hmm. But back then, like my stepmom, we used to hang together and everything like that. And then my dad, you know, he was there, but it was just like, okay, I can get away with a little bit more over here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go over to my dad's house, but I'm going to go over to my house. But I know they don't talk, right?
No.
So I can tell my dad one thing, and I can tell my mom something else, right? Because they ain't going to talk anyway.
See? And kids are so smart.
Yeah.
So, if the parents are not talking, so much can go wrong.
Yeah, they could definitely play different sides. And then you have some kids that try and separate.
Yep.
When you make it blended, some kids, they even want to separate.
Yeah.
Because I told my stepfather that I didn't like him because he was a real man.
He was a real man. You didn't like it. So you didn't like him.
I didn't, because I didn't know what it meant to be around a real man.
Right. So you didn't really recognize what a real man was, and when you presented it, you rejected it.
Yes.
Whew.
So now, at the age of 42, like, I'm just saying, listen, he wasn't feeling good yesterday, but this man was outside, y'all. Okay, outside before the storm. You know, being a man, you know. So no, I am not used to things like that. I'm used to doing everything. So it's so hard for me to calm down. Yeah. And let somebody take control. And then it's hard because I have, you know, like it. You go somewhere and someone is doing something and I'm a giver. Right?
Okay.
But when it comes to parenting, kids need both of their parents. And even if you are in a different relationship, guess what? The kid needs all of you guys to come together as one.
Yeah.
Right? So even being married and divorced and things like that, one thing about me, even when my son transitioned, my kids' father were all there.
They were.
Even with their wives.
They were.
And their wives hugged me, you know, like, you know, they were there to support me. And I'm so thankful for that.
That was a beautiful moment. That really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard of any situation like that where the common ground was support and love. And like you could feel it. Like it wasn't like I'm gonna just show up just to, I feel like I need to show up. No, I was like, I'm gonna show up because I need to show up, because I need to be I need to show the love that I've received.
Yeah.
And that translates not only to you know, the baby daddies, but then their significant others too, to where there's not drama behind it. And that's when you're transparent and real and genuine and truthful, then those awkward situations they don't exist.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't awkward at all. It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
It was his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were a part of his life, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, and that's one thing that I can say, regardless of what happens, that when it comes to children, I felt like he was my only child where I had a problem with that.
Yeah.
You know, so it sucked for him. Because okay, he's already going through something himself, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now it really sucks for him because it's like he's having to play both sides. Wasn't fair to him. Like I felt like his life wasn't fair, you know. So I felt like that was he struggled, you know, so much, and
yeah. And he probably felt, how do I handle this?
Yeah.
And I think we'll never really know all the answers. I think you're full of like why, especially since 3 years leading up to it, you guys were good, right? And you felt like he was making progress, he was doing better, and
I mean literally 3 years, because the first time it was in January.
Okay.
So like, you know how your memories pop up in your phone. So like now every month I'm going back to the pictures from when he was in the hospital before, when we had to FaceTime because it was COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
Add that layer on there.
And at that time, you know, during COVID, only one parent was allowed.
Right.
I had to fight then too. You know, but I never quit.
Yeah.
She don't
never quit. I never quit. So don't you ever quit. I never quit. Even when it, you know, it's not for you, it's for your child. Never quit.
Right.
It's not about you. It's about them. And pray.
Mm-hmm.
Because boy, oh boy, if God wasn't in my life, even when I would kind of go somewhere else, yeah,
He always there.
He is always there. God is always there, and I know even with the situation, sometimes people may say, "Oh, well, when that happens, that people, you know, kids, you know, that you go somewhere else." No, I know where my son went. And I know where he went because I just know where my son went at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I know where he went. Even though he did struggle in that area sometimes.
Yeah.
But
it's the area of his faith, right?
Yep, the area of his faith.
Yeah.
He struggled with that. Again, you have to, you know, even though I would say like back in the day we were like kind of like forced to go to church and stuff, but we knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We talk about that where
and some now we give kids so much leeway. We give them choices, right? We didn't really have too many choices. We didn't turn out bad.
No.
Yeah. I think we can handle a lot more than kids can handle now. We're very strong. We were built stronger. Children now, because they have so many different things that they can listen to and that they hear, and there's so much confusion. Because back then I didn't know anything about crystals. I didn't know anything about other faiths. I didn't know anything about that stuff.
Right.
You know, but now it's so much TV
right
in the ear. I keep saying it.
One swipe away.
All right. Okay. Well,
it's just so there's so much influence.
I know.
Yeah. That's why we got to be the biggest influence.
Yeah.
And so yes, get all up in their business.
Get in their business.
It's, I mean, but it's hard though. Sometimes you're like, I want to do this in a way to where I still have a relationship with my child, right? Like, again, there's no manual. I wish there was a manual.
No manual,
and every child is different,
right.
and children have different characters, personalities. So it's easier to say than to do, and you're trying to find that balance. Like, how can I be more influential to my child? How can I get more information from what my child is being exposed to? And it's difficult when the two parents don't come together, because you have only access to them when they're with you, but you have no idea what they're into when they're away. So
my mama didn't know what I was doing. I was away.
She know now.
Well, I mean, I tell her now. Like, my kids tell me, even though I thought I knew everything, my kids tell me stuff that they was doing. I'd be like, what?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Mom. So I took the car. Well, you did what? When? How?
Wait, didn't Amanda or Devin tell you about something?
Yeah, Demetrius. I'm thinking my younger children never had beef or pork. They said, Mom, We had some steak one day. Demetrius gave us some steak, and it didn't mess with our stomach, Mom. I didn't mess with our stomach. And yeah, we had drove the car to Tyshawn. I'm like, what? You drove a car? My new car? So they have those experiences with him. So yeah, even though all you could do is just try and do your best as being a parent, you're definitely not going to know everything.
No. And you're not going to be perfect in everything.
Nothing is going to be perfect. You're going to go through things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the thing is, it's a design flaw because we're not designed to be perfect.
Nope.
We're designed to learn.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, every moment, every minute.
But we have that option. We're not forced to learn either.
Right.
You can learn from this or not. Like, it's really about, we can't control, like, what we go through. We can't control problems. And Bible even, it talks about promises of trials and tribulations. Thank you for that promise, God. But, like, we all have to go through something. Mm-hmm. So, since we can't control that part, what can we control?
Yeah.
It's just our response. How are we going to respond to it?
Perfect. Exactly. So, what has been your response?
To, but like my other children, or just in general?
In general, on of the wisdom that you've learned and how you're expanding your wisdom to other people. What are some of the things that you, basically, how are you continuing his legacy?
So I am continuing his legacy by speaking, talking about it, because I do feel, as in the Black community, we do not talk about suicide. And I whisper when I say it.
I think it's the first time I heard you say it.
Yeah, and I have said it a few times, but I do think, like I said, in the Black community, it's more of a secret.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Being a nurse, I think it hurt me more too.
Mm-hmm. Because
how am I saving everybody else and I couldn't save my son? So, but it wasn't my duty to do that, you know. So
your job was to love him, to raise him, to teach him. You did your job.
Yeah.
And our children, as they get older, they have the freedom to do what they want with their life.
Yep.
And that's why I constantly say I know God. When I say I know God gave me 3 years, like, so now when you brought up the Bible, when you brought up how King Solomon, so then that was like another, like, oh wow, so I was allowed to get 3 more years.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of the choice that I made.
Right.
3 years. Or the years that I made that choice to allow him to go. I feel like God brought him back to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I think about it like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't do anything but be happy. And then I get, you know, I'm happy and I'm like, dang, you know. Like,
right.
Man, I don't want to cook no more, Demetrius. I didn't have to do anything, but it's like I push harder for him. I go harder for him. I start my nonprofit for him. For other people, Healing Tears. And when I say Healing Tears, it's that heals a lot of different tears.
Right.
And I go hard for God. I go hard for him.
I'm
like, okay, when I get down and depressed, I got to get up.
Right.
You know, because me just laying here, that's not going to fix anything.
Right.
So I get up. I have my moments. What's the song with Ty? What is it?
If he did it before, he could do it again.
It's the new song he got.
Which one?
One moment. One day. You only get one day. Josh. What's her name?
Oh, Jocelyn.
Jocelyn. She sings. Oh my gosh, I can't think of that. No, it's gonna be in my head now.
I can't think. It's gonna come to me. We're done.
Oh my goodness, I know.
Only one night though. That one.
Yes.
Only one night though.
You get one night.
Yeah. Okay.
Let it out. Get it up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah, it's a good song. It's a good message. Yeah. It's true. I kept hearing you say, "I gotta go." do this. I gotta go do that. I just keep hearing you say, go. Like, you gotta keep moving. You can't stay. You have to keep moving. And you're moving in different directions, which I think is beautiful. You're getting stronger in your faith. You're still focusing on being a mom and helping your kids get through this situation. You have your non-for-profit organization. You're doing the T-shirts because Casey was a great artist, and he designed, or he used to draw these amazing pictures, and he had his own. Was it a clothing line?
He actually was starting Pariah, which means outcast, right?
Yeah.
So even though I actually knew that he was drawing the flowers, but I didn't know what they meant. I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice, you know. He had made himself 2 pairs of pants. He wore them on December 15th, and he transitioned December 19th. But he wore the pants. He put the flowers all over the pants. So then once I got in this business, I found Pariah, and I found the logo, and I just took off from there. And I'm just trying to get things in order so I can continue. So like when you see this flower, you know, this means, okay, it can mean mental health. It can mean somebody might feel like an outcast, or you might just be representing somebody that is going through something. Yeah. Like I said, we all deal with mental health.
All of us.
Now, one thing that while you were talking about going, the mistake that I made when I was in my lowest place was going with no purpose. Just going to be busy.
Okay.
I wasn't healing myself. I was hurting myself even more. What I've seen you do is go with a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm going to heal through these actions.
Yeah.
And staying still does not heal me. So therefore, I gotta go. And so that's one thing that is ingrained in you. That's why you called the captain. But sometimes we can get tricked into thinking being busy is actually being productive.
Yeah, because I do have moments where I've called Rose, and I might shut down, and my youngest son, I call him my spiritual child for a reason, and maybe years later we'll find that out.
Right.
And he is always there, and he'll call my mom, and he say, "Grandma, it's happening." I said, "What's wrong, baby? What's wrong?" "Grandma, it's happening again." She's thinking about Demetrius. And so, you know, she talks to him, and he'll just, you know, he'll hug me, and then I start feeling bad, like, okay, wait, but then they do have their moments too.
Right.
But he's so strong. My kids are so strong. All of them are so strong.
They are. They really are.
They are so strong through this situation. We all have our moments, and I always tell them it's okay to have those moments, because I don't want them to bottle it up.
Right.
And so he has had his moments. He's had his moments. Like I said, all of them have their moments, and I just say, have it.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to cry. Sometimes people tell their kids, don't cry.
Right.
You know, and a lot of men are taught not to cry.
Right.
Guess what? Cry. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Shed a tear.
Let it out.
Let it out. Because having that stuff bottled up is not going to help you.
Right.
So they let it out. We let it out. I calm out kids. I let them know. And it's crazy, because when I remember talking to my oldest son, because sometimes I'm scared to say something to them, because I don't want to bring something up or put them
like trigger.
If they're doing something. He said, "I wasn't doing good today either."
Yeah.
So then we wind up just talking, you know,
right.
like, okay, well, you know, all right. Then we push each other.
Right.
My oldest son, he actually sends us daily quotes. He sends a daily quote, and he's been doing it
really
every single day since the daily quote.
That's what's up.
So, and they're celebrating him every 19th
Right.
of the month, regardless if it's a small moment, a small little thing, lighting a candle, having a Zoom with just us as a family, or just going to do something.
Right.
We think of different things that we did with Casey,
right,
and we make it happen.
Yeah,
and y'all make it happen too.
Well, listen, I keep saying this, but I mean it. I'm just so proud of you. I know this is just a portion of your journey and your testimony, and I'm not even going to say a lot of people are going to be blessed by this. I think a lot of people are already blessed by your actions. I think you called me, you went to some type of event, and I think it was the first time you were vulnerable and you told this story. And there were so many people that related to you and were just so happy that she spoke about it in public in front of other people, because it was probably more than half of the people that were either struggling with or knew someone that was struggling with ideas of just ending their life, right?
And I wasn't even going to speak. I was just going there, and it was a show I was on,
right?
And with me sharing my story, I think Pastor Gray was there. I can't remember exactly who was there, but when he had said, "Has anybody in this room ever thought about taking their life?" Half of the room stood up, but the majority of them were black men.
Wow.
90% were black men.
Wow.
Crying that so many men were coming up to me, thanking me for being vulnerable.
Right.
Yeah.
Saying that, you know what, I know it's okay for me to go talk to somebody or tell somebody, like what I was just feeling like yesterday, or you know, I just felt this. And then other parents were coming up to me telling me that, oh, my daughter, she's going through this. And it was just like, wow.
Now think about it. If you didn't give that testimony, if you weren't vulnerable or open about it, and I think it was John Gray when he started off, maybe at the beginning, if he would have asked off the back, how many people are dealing with this, I bet you 0 people would have stood up. That's not a comfortable thing to just showcase to strangers around you. So that's like a ripple effect. It was like a butterfly effect, because that one act you did, how many people did that help? And then now they're getting help, and it's like this butterfly effect. It's like this wave. So this is just a beginning, like, for you. I think this is just a beginning for how you're going to touch so many lives and so many people, and carry on, you know, the name of your son and his legacy. And I'm excited about your future. I think you have great things lined up. And even with your children, like, I know this is going to be hard. I don't think this will ever be like, okay, I'm good. I think you're always going to be, you know, hurt by this. And that's okay. We're supposed to have a heart. We're supposed to, I mean, that's one way to remember, you know, people that we love. So, yeah, that part will never go away. But I do think it will get easier to deal with. But I do think you have an exciting future ahead. And I'm excited for you.
Well, thank you. I like I said, just like how they say, it takes a village for children, but it also takes the same thing for me.
That's good.
Because the role that I play, being a nurse, being an entrepreneur, having different businesses, people see so much on social media, but calls stop. Y'all know how it is. Someone important dies, they're no longer here.
Right.
And they might call you or look at you or say something to you for the first 2 weeks, and then it's dry.
Yep.
But I am so thankful for my friend, my dear friend, who, you know, you're recently married, so just stopping your life to come check on me and physically be there with me, and you as her husband to physically come. Because, listen, they talk about you still. Man, I don't know. So you had security. You know, CJ was security. He was posted. Didn't move. So I'm just so thankful for you. I'm serious. I'm so serious. Like, I'm so serious. I wouldn't be able to do it by myself.
Yeah. We absolutely love you. And I just thank God. No, you're not supposed to do it by yourself. I thank God that I was able to be there. I thank God for an understanding husband. And
yes.
Oh, like, yeah. Go.
It was, yeah. I mean, he had to take care of home, like, take care of all the kids, keep working, this and that. So I don't take it for granted, the fact that I'm able to be there for you. So
I'm thankful.
Yeah, girl, I love you.
I'm blessed.
You are. Yeah, girl.
Yes.
Yes, and we'll get through this. And yeah, I love that. The village is not just for the kid. It's adults. We need a village too.
I've never even heard that.
I've never even thought about it. It takes a village to raise a kid. Well, when do you stop raising a kid? Like, when does that kid no longer need the village?
We always need
never.
It. Yeah, listen, we think because we become adults that we don't really, like I said, I had to learn to start accepting the help.
Right.
And start saying, you know what? Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm so independent and like, okay, I don't want to keep doing this by myself.
Right.
I've done it all this time and it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
You know, so having the help and, you know, even just, I'm telling y'all, even just yesterday, this is little of us just being together yesterday, fixing things together. I do that by myself.
I know the way we were trying to fix a garage door
and garage.
Oh man,
but it worked.
Yeah, the captain was like, "Here, let's try this. Let's get this zip tie." She was up on the ladder and everything.
But it worked. It did work. But it worked with all three of us.
Right.
It did.
It took you to say, "No, babe, push it up right there."
Yeah. Hammer this part out.
Yeah.
We'll look on the outside.
Right. But we were good when the storm came.
Cool. We got that fixed right on time. Right before the storm came.
But listen, even to stop raining when it was time to fix it.
You're right.
Come on now.
I told you. I mean, you just gotta look. God be showing. He be showing up.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was really good.
Yes.
That was so good.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. So good.
What message, if there was a pinpoint laser accurate message that you want to hit us with right in our spirit, what do you think that is right now?
I just have to keep going back to God first. It's in my spirit.
Yeah.
God first.
Okay.
and it's like once you get to that point, because I had to get to this point in my life.
Yeah.
But once you really, not pretend.
Yeah.
Once you really, 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 really know that you are really putting God first, everything else, I'm not going to say will fall in place because nothing's going to be perfect.
Right.
But once God is first, you will be able to deal with things that you never thought that you would be able to deal with. From anything in life, parenting, mental health, relationships, everything, life itself, you know. So all I can say is, like your cup says,
what my cup say?
Home, as for me and my house will serve the Lord.
We will serve. That's for me
and
my
this
house.
Cup says pray, pray, pray. Rosalinda got this for me.
I did.
Yeah. So that's all I could say is when it comes to anything in life, pray, put God first, and be open. Communication. That is what I want to say. Communication is the number one thing that I talk about. Communication with your children, communication with parenting, communication with your friends,
right?
Communication with yourself.
Yeah.
If you write it down.
Right.
Yeah.
We got phones now. You can press the button. If something is on your mind, speak it.
Right.
Get it out.
Get it out.
Yeah.
You don't know what to say or you're afraid, you can record it and send a message. Just press send.
Yeah.
It's 4 letters. Help.
Yeah.
Use it.
Oh.
Well. Pray. So that's what we about to do.
Okay, babe. Let's do it.
Oh, Father, thank you for the healing that you give us. Thank you for the lives that we live. Thank you for the lives that we cultivate. Thank you for the life of Jesus, Lord.
Yes, Father.
Thank you for the Holy Spirit that speaks inside of us.
Yes.
May we just be messengers of your word, messengers of your love. May we be open to receiving your love, Lord. May we have our eyes open, have our ears open, and have our mouths closed. But in the moment that we need to speak, let us speak your love.
Yes.
Let us speak your peace. And know that at the end of the day, your glory is all that matters.
Yes, Father.
Your mighty name, amen.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Yes, amen.
So this is the Just a Messenger podcast, where we're just trying to change the world with one message at a time. And what is that message? It's the message of love, hope, joy, and peace. And until next time,
Selah.